The main issue in the UK is, of course, that Hamas is a prescribed terrorist organization. What's interesting is that there has been a kind of legal fight to try and change that.
What the government shouldn't have done really in the first place is made the political bits of it a terrorist organisation. So it's kind of forced the other side.
Can I just stop you there, Matt? Matt is not saying that the government should not have done that. That he's saying that in the case for Hamas, that would be the argument. That would be the proposition that one would make. Hypothetically, if one were to be involved, which neither Matt or I are involved, of course, because Hamas is a terrorist organisation, so we hate Hamas. Obviously, absolutely.
All of it.
Hate it, all of it, because it's all terrorism.
Including the road sweepers.
Because Priti Patel, who we love, who's never put a foot wrong, she made it all terrorism, so it must all be terrorism. I mean, why would the government do anything wrong? Why would the government lie? Particularly the Conservative government with Priti Patel. They've never lied or done anything wrong. This is the thing I don't understand about generally the sort of view about international politics with regard to the Conservative Party, is that all the Conservative Party do, or did when they were in power in the UK, was strip people's rights, make the right to protest more difficult, make the democratic process in general more difficult. And then, their argument for anything that's happening abroad is democracy. We've got to protect liberal values.
When you're not very nice, that's what you do. You just make up a bunch of stupid shit.
But even a not very nice clock is right sometimes. And Priti Patel was right on the money with Hamas because they're a terrorist organisation. How do I know? Because the British government says they're a terrorist organisation. So they must be a terrorist organisation. And I hate them because they're a terrorist organisation.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that. I 100% agree with everything you just said. And I completely agree with everything that the government tells me to say.
Yes, exactly. So this is what Jonathan Cook had to say about it. This is the first time I've had to begin an opinion column with both a journalistic disclosure and a legal disclaimer. The disclosure: I was one of 20 people who contributed expert reports for a recent legal submission to the British Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, calling on her to end the proscription of Hamas as a terrorist organisation. Over the past several months, I've been watching with growing professional alarm and personal trepidation what I can only describe as a campaign of political intimidation and persecution of a number of journalists in the UK. The journalists who have been targeted share one thing in common. They report and comment on Israel's actions in Gaza from a critical perspective that judges those actions to be genocidal. They also criticise the British government as being complicit in that genocide. I now found myself in a situation where, for the first time in my 36-year professional career, I am no longer sure what, by law, I can write or say in my capacity as a journalist on an issue of major international importance. I now live with the fear that, by writing critically about events in Gaza, I risk a dawn raid by counter-terrorism police on my home in front of my children, leading potentially to terrorism charges being laid against me. And Jonathan Cook, obviously, he was a Guardian journalist many years ago. He's been a kind of leading left-wing journalist for decades. He doesn't even know what he's able to write.